Hi guys, today I have the honor of being a guest designer for the British stamp company Unico, and they make just lovely stamp sets, and they have sent me two to play with. You can see them here. The first one is a geometrical stamp set called Triangulate, and as you can see it's all about triangles. And the second one is Simply Said Birthday with gorgeous sentiments, and this happy birthday here is my absolute favorite. I think the font is just absolutely lovely. So let's see what I'm going to create today. I wanted to show you how you can use your geometric stamps to create completely different cards. And if you hear some whining in the background, that's my cat. Please ignore her. She's unhappy with something. Well, she's a cat. She's always complaining about something. So I'm using my ATG gun here to adhere two pieces of cardstock together because I wanted them to be a little bit more sturdy. And we don't always have like super expensive heavy-duty cardstock around, so you can just layer up 2 layers of regular cardstock and then you have heavier cardstock. So now you can also turn your stamp sets around. You just don't have to look at them one way, just turn them around and see what else you can do with them. I want to create I hope that it's the right word, a garland today. And I just wanted to show you can use one of those bigger sets and just bend it and then stamp a garland, because that's super easy. You could even use maybe your ombre ink pads or use different ink pads to create an ombre effect. But because I'm a glutton for punishment, yes, you know me, I'm going to use one of the single stamps today. One of the smallest single stamps. That's the one I'm going to be using today. I'm starting out by just drawing the lines of the garlands on my paper, and I'm doing this with a very light hand. So I can easily erase them later on. And these are the ink colors I'm going to be using: Alta New Grapevine, the Pale Tomato Hero Arts, Green Hills by Hero Arts, and then I think this is the Mint to Be, yes, the Mint to Be by Avery L, which is a pigment ink. I'm also going to be cleaning my stamps in between because I always have to switch colors, so I'm using the scrubber pad and the cleaning solution by Hero Arts for cleaning, which this is the stuff I use exclusively. I don't use anything else for cleaning because it works so great. So I'm basically going to alternate the colors, which means stamp in one color, clean the stamp in the next color, and that's what I did for the entire card here. It does take a while, but I think the effect that you get is pretty lovely. And I opted for for a nice like quiet color combination, nothing too screamy, colory. I don't know how else to explain. I just wanted to have something simple and nice. I'm using my Memento marker to draw in the lines, the final lines here, as if these triangles were really on a garland. And then I'm using my embossing buddy here to make sure that my embossing powder, because I want to heat emboss the sentiment, is only going to stick where the Versamark ink actually is. So I stamped on my sentiment, and this is the Zing gold embossing powder. I'm just going to generously dump this on there and then shake it off onto a piece of paper. And then I'm going to heat set it, and you can see when it gets darker, it's actually fully heat embossed then. And it doesn't come across here, but the sparkle on this is amazing. That's why I absolutely love this gold embossing powder. It's not quite as fine as others might be, but it just reflects the light gorgeously. And then I sped this up a bit. So my plan was all along to add some dots around those triangles to make the background a little more lively and interesting. And of course, if you're working with geometric shapes, it's always fun to use contrasting shapes, and triangles and circles are pretty contrasty, so it's always a good combination. I'm using a white gel pen here to add some fake highlights to the triangles. Don't worry about light sources and stuff. I think I messed this up completely, but I hope you get the gist of it. And then I'm putting some glue on the back of this again and matting it against a green piece of cardstock that is almost the same color as the green ink that I used for stamping. And then that gets some glue as well, that green piece here, and that will go on my white card base. Just have to make sure it's centered so it doesn't look crooked or anything. So there we go. And then I'm bringing in my Wink of Stella pen, the clear one, and just to add some sparkle to these triangles here, because what I want to do next is to actually add some glossy accents on top of this. And if you add sparkle to it before, the glossy accents will not just trap the sparkle, it will enhance it as well. And it was a little bit fiddly, but thanks to my fine tip applicator, you can see how nicely this worked out. And once this was dried, it got really, really sparkly and nice. So that was the first card. Let's move on to the second card. I fixated it, made sure it doesn't move around on my craft surface, and I have this tiny triangle stamp, this border album. You could use it as a border, for example. And I'm using different purple inks, and I'll be listing all of them in the product description, to create an ombre effect. That means going from a dark purple to a lighter purple. And that's basically what I'm doing. And it's a little bit challenging to line it up. I have to admit that was a little bit tricky, but you can see it worked out quite nicely. And then I grabbed a Paper Smooches die, a butterfly die, because I want to create a window here into this ombre ombre background. Once I die cut this, I grabbed a piece of black cardstock, put some glue on it, and I'm going to adhere it to the back of this panel, right so. So when we turn this around, you can see it looks pretty black because it's black, but don't worry, we're gonna fix that. I'm grabbing my Wink of Stella again and applying a generous amount of sparkle to this black cardstock because I want it to really, really sparkle and shine. And you can see here, once the camera focuses, that it looks really gorgeous. It looks really awesome. So what I did is I then adhered the butterfly, I 3D mounted it into that space so you can still see the black underneath the butterfly. And because I had some ink boo-boos on the card while I was stamping, I just drew some dots in and covered that up. So yep, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. And here's my sentiment stamped with Versamark black ink. And here you can see that I mentioned that you get from this butterfly and just this gorgeous effect because you die cut it directly out of this stamped panel. So here's a close-up of this card, and I think it's absolutely lovely with the black peeking from underneath the butterfly. It really gives it some really nice contrast. And here's the first card that we did with those gorgeous garlands that you can stamp individually or in one go, and the wonderful happy birthday sentiment. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you got inspired, and I'll catch you again soon. Bye bye.